Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. I think this is our final statewide call of the year. So we are excited to share all of the wonderful things that has been going on across the state. My name is Arbany Cooper, and I serve as the state director. And we have so many wonderful guest speakers. The agenda today, we're going to talk to Miss Nakia Jeffries from More Than a Job. We're also going to go over Period 10 Snapshot. We have a lot of student celebrations, the professional development preview for the next program year. And then we're also going to introduce you, for those of you who do not know him, to Dr. Robert Van Dyke, who is our Associate Vice President of Federal Programs. And he's going to talk to you and get some feedback about the current data management system. So we have a packed schedule, so I am going to be brief and brilliant and move very quickly through my portion of the presentation. Next slide, please. So first of all, I want to send a huge shout out to Ms. Browning Rocafort. She is retiring from Burke County Literacy Council. Dr. Delonda Bond and I had the pleasure of going up there to visit and attend her retirement ceremony last week. So congratulations to you, Brownie. We are certainly celebrating her legacy of leadership, compassion, and commitment. As I told her last Thursday, you've been the glue that has held it all together, and we are so grateful to you for your service and dedication over the past 19 years. And the upcoming newsletter, you'll be able to see her full bio, and we have a spread celebrating Brownie. Also, I want to send a congratulations to Miss Devon Jemison. She just retired from Southwestern Community College. She served as a coordinator there for many years and also most recently served as a program director. So congratulations to you, Devon, as well. All right, next slide. So now I am going to turn it over to Rebecca to introduce our next speaker.
Whoop. Can you hear me? Yes. Okay, I think I'm not on mute. All right. I would like to welcome Nakia Jeffries from Department of Health and Human Services. She is the More Than a Job North Carolina program coordinator for our state and works with the North Carolina Community College system in administering this program as well. And although they're not a required partner for a one-stop partner, but they are a very important partner, and they have had some recent changes in their program, and we just wanted to make sure that all of our Title II providers are aware of what's going on with our partner here. So Nakia, I'll pass it off to you.
All right. Thank you, Rebecca. And thank you, Arbany, for both giving me an opportunity to share information about More Than a Job. I know Dr. Michelle Johnson was going to be with us today, but she is taking some well-deserved time off. So we're gonna move forward. Dr. Johnson is the main contact for the system office, but also our state office is available for any questions as well. More Than a Job is it is definitely that. We want to make sure that when a student enrolls in our program, they're not just looking for employment; they're looking for a career, and it takes steps to get there. And with More Than a Job, we realize that there needs to be a plan in place with individuals so they can move towards their goals. This is a collaborative initiative. This is between North Carolina Community College System Office and the Department of Health and Human Services. Actually, the System Office is our largest partner that we have. We are working on ensuring that hopefully all of the community colleges across the state come on board with More Than a Job. As we reach out to our DSSs, they want a partner. They want a partnership because they can get the referrals in through the DSS office, but they need to be able to do a soft handoff to a partner such as the community colleges so that the ones that they refer, they know that they can reach out to their education navigator for assistance with job search training, also education, and then career training as well. We offer a very one thing I really love about More Than a Job, it's not just one particular curriculum or continuing education courses. It ranges from continuing education to up to 2-year degrees, especially when it comes down to medical fields like the RNs. We know that takes usually about 2 years to complete. So it's not just a short term. It can be short term and long term. As long as a person is making progress in their plans to success, then we're there to support them. Um, Oh, I'm sorry, Nick. I'm sorry. I almost finished with that. I'm sorry, Rebecca, and I'll speed up. So the comprehensive supportive services, we know that there's a lot of barriers that come into play for students. I mean, sometimes even for a student just to enroll and do the application, they say, okay, I've enrolled, I've been accepted, but I need assistance with tuition. Or even with basic education, I have some tests that I need to take to get my diploma. Then we can assist with those things as well, as long and also with transportation, childcare. And it is about a network. It is if we can't do it by ourselves, so that's why we need to collaborate and expand throughout North Carolina. Okay, next slide. Currently, these are our community colleges and the counties they serve. And we also are actively working with several other colleges to actually come on board. I had a great meeting this morning with a college and looking forward to them onboarding as well. Now, some of the benefits for the students, I've covered some of it, the education job training. Sometimes someone may not have been in the workforce field for, several years, then and things have changed, even filling an application. So education navigators are there to and they're trained to assist with those barriers when it comes down to applications and interviewing. The financial support is there as well. This is a federally funded program, the USDA. So the system office receives funds for tuition, transportation, uniforms, fees. Even for like TB tests or CDL license, we can support with those fees as well. Career guidance. Sometimes a student may not know, what do I need to do? Where do I go? What's my next step? And the education navigator is there to assist them. We do not tell students what to do, but we do assist them and we help them map out which way to go. And sometimes it could be micro steps, and then later on they can take bigger steps. But as long as we're making progress, that is the whole point, because we know everyone cannot complete sometimes a program in 1 year. Sometimes life happens, and so we need to still be supportive of the individual as they reach their milestones. Resource connections, we definitely, again, it takes more than one or two programs to make things happen. So the more we collaborate within the community, the stronger a program and robust a program More Than a Job can be. Of course, employment success is very important. We do job retention for up to 90 days. We also have stats that shows that even after a year, stats that were done in 2025, after a year of and completing the program with More Than a Job, that 62% of individuals maintain employment. So it's not about just getting the training, it's then obtaining the career that you have complete your training for, and then how do we maintain it? So that all comes into play. And in community college partnership, there's flexible funding. We do assist with reimbursement of 50% with operational costs. This would also increase capacity and leverage funds. And I give an example, something that I said this morning to the college. I sometimes forget about grants such as the SECU or Golden Leaf. Those are grants that you can get reimbursement for because they're not fairly generated. So that's the main thing with the funds. They cannot come from originally from the federal from feds. So we can definitely leverage our funds. Stronger student outcomes. I will say with this partnership, the students they retain and they stay in classes longer because and they complete the course. Not just stay in there, they complete them because they have someone checking in with them. If their car breaks down, it's not like, oh my gosh, I can't go to school, so I just have to drop out. Well, the program can assist with getting the car repairs so that person can continue to meet their goals.
And
And yes, go ahead.
Nakia, do
Yes.
I understand that while it's just at 13 community colleges right now, that More Than a Job North Carolina works with other providers in addition to community colleges, and you're working pretty hard to expand your reach to be across the whole state. So if a student or if a college is in an area where, the college might not be the provider, but there could be another More Than a Job North Carolina provider in their area. Is that right?
That is absolutely correct, Rebecca. Thank you. Yes, so as of June 1st, we have expanded to all 100 counties. If you
Yay.
do, yes, I know, super excited, super excited. And so, as you're correct, we have a virtual provider right now that's in all 100 counties. But we are working on having a brick and mortar partnership in these counties because it's very important. I just had a conversation. I'll be on a panelist in California at the end of this month, and it's very important that we have that human connection. We can have someone fill out the form and do the virtual stuff, but it's also important for someone to be engaging with the students as well. But yes, thank you.
Yeah.
We do have
And I,
salvation.
I love your new website with information for people who are interested in being providers or people who are interested in being participants.
Yes,
So
yes.
it looks awesome.
Thank you, thank you. We rebranded. We definitely rebranded More Than a Job over the past 2 years. Um Definitely the HR1 impact. We already feeling it. One example is usually a we just say a dad that has a child in a home that's 15. Well, they did not have to meet work requirements. Well, now if the child is 15, the parent has to meet work requirements. And what that means is that they have to be working, volunteering, or in school for at least 20 hours per week, equivalent to 80 hours per month. So that is major because it used to be the age of 18. So that is very much major. And then we're going to see a decline in the number of individuals qualified for exemptions. That's major as well, because sometimes like someone could be exempt, even like a homeless person, they may not be exempt anymore. So that's something we have to take account of too, because we want people to be able to have access to food. As far as community college, you definitely will see an increase with More Than a Job referrals. It's already happening. In fact, for this year, federal fiscal year starting 10/1/25 to present, we've had over 3,000 referrals. And I think it's going to continue to rise. And so we want to make sure that our partners have the capacity to bring on these individuals' enrollments. We do have some areas that do have a waiting list right now, but we're working with DSS to what we call do a good cause so that the person that's receiving FNS is not losing their benefits while they're on the waiting list.
Okay.
Next, you can go to next. All right, bridging the gaps. Partnerships are essential to delivering comprehensive student support, and it is. Although we're at the state, and we do oversee the program, it is truly a partnership. We take very seriously the feedback that we receive, and when we make changes and policy changes, we actually reach out to our providers and say, "What are your thoughts? We're looking at this change, and how will it affect the work that you're currently doing?" So that's important for us as well. Now, if you do have any questions, feel free to follow with Dr. Johnson, and she will follow when she gets back from her much deserved vacation. She will definitely follow up with you. And I appreciate this time.
Thank you for joining us. And do you mind? I can't access the chat at the same time I'm running the slideshow as easily, but if you don't mind plopping or placing is maybe the better word than plop, your new website and your contact information as well in the chat,
Absolutely.
that
Yes,
would be
ma'am.
wonderful.
All right. Thanks,
Thank
everyone.
you. We look forward to continued collaboration.
Thank you.
Thank you for all you do for our students. All right, passing it off to Jess.
All right, good afternoon. So we just released period 11 late last Friday. You should have received an email from me on Monday letting you know that this had updated. So this is a state level view of kind of where we are right now in period 11 versus where we were in period 11 last year. So you can see that we have not only increased the MSG over where we were last year, but we have now exceeded the target of 44%, which is the MSG target that the state of North Carolina set with Octane. So we have exceeded that so we can breathe a breath of fresh air and sigh of relief here at the state office. And then focus now on the post-exit indicators. So, the other areas that led to the MSG increase are noted there, and I think we share these slides with you at the end, so I won't read through all of these, but some areas to focus on as we move into the new program year in less than a month. We have seen a decrease across the state in the number of students served, which includes participants as well as reportables, and a decrease in POPs. The other thing that we keep seeing a decline in over the last 5 program years is the post-testing rate. I know a lot of folks focus on other MSG opportunities. And so in that case, if you use alternate placement instead of giving them an NRS pretest in the beginning, that can help with your post-test percentage of 65%. But just some areas of focus as we move forward. And do I have one more slide, Rebecca? Yep. So just a few strategies to end this year strong. Again, we do only have about a couple weeks left. We'll then give you your preliminary period 12 data to review before we close the year down for good on July 29th at noon. But go ahead and be post-testing as many students as possible. Avoid student separations through keeping track of attendance and reaching out to students in a timely manner. And then making sure that you've got those HSE IDs on all the student records when they start official testing. That's how we ensure that we're able to data match with folks. And then looking at, again, like I just said, alternate placement for students that are in certain cohorts of students.
All right. We have had a fabulous spring, and I know you all have too, and you must be happy and tired from all the graduations and student success celebrations. I had the opportunity to visit at Davidson Davy and see their ceremony. Here are a few pictures. I did not take these pictures, but these are from the Davidson Davy ceremony. It was a beautiful day outside, windy, but lovely. And we had staff also go to Edgecombe, Lenore, and we were invited to South Piedmont, and our entire team had scheduling conflicts, so we're sorry we weren't able to make that one, but just really enjoyed the special chance to celebrate with you and your students the amazing impact that's adult education is having across our state. And wanted to pass it off to Cindy Ho to introduce one of our IET graduates.
Hello, everyone. My name is Cindy Ho. I serve as the Pathways Navigator at Randolph Community College. In this role, I am responsible for creating integrated education and training IET programs, recruiting, enrolling, and tracking students who are participating in or are interested in our IETs, and also providing academic and career advising. I also conduct orientation for incoming students, connect them with available resources and services such as NC Works, and meet with students who have completed our programs to discuss their next step. I encourage other community colleges to explore the possibility of creating similar positions, whether it's on a part-time or full-time basis. I started out part-time, and Stephanie Reeder, the director of CCR for Randolph Community College, advocated for a full-time position, and now I'm here. So having a dedicated Pathways Navigator can strengthen student retention, program completion, overall student success, and help ensure that the students have the opportunity and the support that they need to transition successfully into the workforce or continue their education. We are pleased to have one of our students, Ruth Lambeth, with us today to share her educational journey and to talk about her experiences in the program.
Thank you, Cindy. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. My name is Ruth Helena Lambert. First, I would like to say thank you for the opportunity to share this story in this meeting. I would especially like to thank President Shah Ordalan and Ms. Stephanie Breeder for selecting me to receive the $1,000 Presidential Award during the commencement ceremony. I'm truly grateful for this recognition, and it means a lot to me. I lived in Colombia for 35 years, where I had my own business. I also have an associate's degree in business management. I moved to the United States 10 years ago with my son, and together we started a new chapter in our lives. During our first years here, I felt very afraid to speak or go anywhere because I didn't understand the language. It was very frustrating. Throughout the years, we had continued to face many challenges and obstacles. Sometimes I felt like I couldn't move forward, but I decided to try anyway, not only for me, but for both of us. That is why I decided to start ESL classes, and that is how I found Randall Community College. At RCC, I found more than a school. I found a supportive and welcoming environment with a family-like atmosphere where people always encourage me to continue growing academically and personally. I started with ESL classes and later took citizenship classes. With hard work and dedication, I was able to overcome my fear of speaking English. Once I gained that confidence, many new opportunities opened for me, including digital literacy, GED classes, and the IET program in early childhood education. I have always had a passion for education, and this program allowed me to learn and grow academically while improving my language skills at the same time. My favorite part of the program was creating lesson plans and learning activities. I really enjoy designing activities that help children learn and develop new skills. I earned the North Carolina Early Childhood Credential after completing my certification. This achievement has helped me to move closer to my goal and working in the field of education. Right now, I'm actively looking for an opportunity in education where I can continue learning, supporting others, and making a positive impact. At the same time, I'm currently exploring selecting my next course because I want to continue studying and growing professionally. My advice to other adult learners is don't be afraid to try. Even if you think your English or academic skills are not ready, the instructors will give you all the tools and support you need to succeed. Finally, I want to thank Randall Community College for all the support, guidance, and for this invitation. This experience has truly changed my life and helped me build a better future for my son and me. Thank you.
Thank you so much for taking the time to come and to share with us.
Thank you so much, Ruth. And we want to thank the system office for the opportunity for us to build these IET programs and pushing these programs and getting the funding for us for these programs so that we can continue the great work that we get to do every day. So thank you, Ruth, for coming. We're so proud of you. I wish I could give all the emojis, the hearts, the celebrate, the applause, all of it. I saw a bunch of people giving applause and hearts while you were speaking. So great job.
Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you.
See if I can get back. Here we go. So I also just wanted to give a shout out to all the different ways that I have seen our providers acknowledge student success and really celebrate it and help amplify the impact of adult education in their communities and beyond. I noticed that COABE is still running their alumni study where they are doing a longitudinal study on the impact of adult education. And there's a link there. And then COABE also did a video that can run kind of on a loop during graduation ceremonies that shares information with students and graduates about the alumni study. COABE is also collecting student success stories, and so you all have been phenomenal in submitting things to the blog and our newsletter. But you can also share those at the national level if you would like to honor a student in that way. And then Stanley Community College, I know Guilford and Davidson Davie, I'm sure there are others, participate in the National Adult Education Honor Society and have opened local chapters. There will be something in the newsletter about that as well. But that is something that is open to community-based organizations as well. It doesn't have to be tied to graduation, but it can be. But it's an excellent way to honor what your students are bringing to the program every day and how they're succeeding. And then I also saw how South Piedmont Community College was recognizing a student with an ESOL Leadership Award at South Piedmont. Just another example of it doesn't have to just be an adult high school graduation or a HSE graduate, but we can honor students in a variety of ways. And thank you for all the ways you are doing that. And I just wanted to share it so that maybe you pick up some good ideas from each other because we all see what we do locally, but we get the benefit of getting to see things from the state level. All right, I'll pass it off to Matthew.
Hello and thank you. I'm Matthew Brown, and I am here to talk about the MOU and IFA collection process. We are updating our collection and reviewal process of the MOUs and IFAs. We are in the process of setting that new process in order, and so this is to make it more consistent across providers and across levels and to make sure that all those requirements are being met and what we are signing on to is being fulfilled. And so after July 1st, and probably before that a little bit, you will get some notifications on and some information on how this process will work. And so stand by for more information. And so you'll be hearing from me. Thank you.
All right, Dan.
That snuck up on me. But welcome, everybody. We just wanted to make sure you all know, you probably do, that we have the IPS conference coming up in July 13th through 15th in Charlotte. And there are a whole full strand of sessions designed specifically for college and career readiness. And it's mostly people from the field and from colleges, presenting about things that they're doing at their colleges. It includes topics like monitoring, developmental ed, state compliance, membership courses, that must be a good one, adult high school, and an interactive system office staff guided roundtable. So we encourage you all to register and come to the IPS conference. It ends, early bird, the deal ends June 15th. And then we have prepared a document that we're going to share with the directors this week of all the conferences that you could potentially attend during the next program year. Most of them we have dates for and links. Rebecca did most of that work, but we will get that out to you. We did want to give you a little conference preview for early 26-27. First is Convocation, which will be at Cape Fear Community College in Wilmington. If you've never been to Cape Fear campus, it's a really cool campus that's right in downtown Wilmington, and they have a very nice facility for having conferences or meetings. Then the next thing, it will be the Community College System Conference, which will be October 14th to 16th at the Convention Center here in Raleigh. There is an NC Works Partnership Conference that is conflicting with the North Carolina Community College Conference this year, but you could also go to that. And then there's a North Carolina Center for Nonprofits Conference in October. And there will be more things to tell you about soon. So thank you. everyone.
Arbany?
Of
Or
course, I'm
Rob?
talking on mute.
Oh.
All right, so I would like to introduce you to our leader, Dr. Robert Van Dyke. He serves as the inaugural Associate Vice President of Federal Programs, and he is here today to talk with you about data management systems. So without further ado, I am going to turn it over to Dr. Van Dyke.
Good afternoon, everybody. I am trying to. There is my camera finally coming on. There it goes. I was fighting with it. It was like I can't open today. But thank you all for joining us today. Been in the background, been in this role for over about a year, so supporting this. But I'm here today to kind of do a second follow-up to our meeting last week. I don't know how many of you joined us last week for this conversation. So I'm going to start with a little bit of some background, but really the main point of me being here is to listen. So we at the system office first started to look at a grant management system back last year, just as a way for us to modernize how we are using technology to manage our grant. And so part of this process was to look at something to help replace our Moodle, to help make things a lot more streamlined on the grant management activity side. That's the budgeting and program management and all of those pieces. Along the way, we discovered that our contract with our system of record, which is our data set, our data management system for Title II, would end on August 2028. And so as RFPs work, we would have to be a part, we'd have to put an RFP out for that. And our current data system is Advances. And so we decided to cast a large net with an RFP that had a grant management system and a data management system. And so we are at the part right now where are working with final best and final offers with several vendors of this. And part of that is we wanted to make sure that we get everything in which we need as we look forward with a grant management system. I'm unfortunately able to tell you of any of the vendors because we are still under an active RFP process and really kind of what we're really looking for, but the RFP is out there if you want to look at it. And so with that, I have met with CIOs a couple weeks ago and got their opinion. I met with a lot of you last week, as well as some CAOs on that call to get some information. This is a follow-up with that. And then I will meet with workforce continuing education leaders next week, as well as college presidents. So we're really trying to cast a wide net and see really what we need in a data system. So the grant management system is going to be the easy lift that's going to replace in future years, not next year, but in future years, our Moodle and some of those activities that you do with like the budgeting, as well as time and effort and all of those other grant management pieces. So that's the easier lift of the two. The part that I'd like to focus on and get all of your feedback on today is the Title II data system, primarily something that would replace Advances. And so with that, I asked 4 questions last week and asked people to come today if they were there to think about it. But if you weren't there or you have more to say, this is your opportunity for us to hear you to make sure that we can get everything in which we need in order for us to be successful. So I'd love to keep this positive. I do understand the staff has kept me very aware of the challenges that Advances has caused both recently as well as in the implementation. So I'm aware of those things, but I want to hear it from your perspective as well. So I have these 4 questions on the screen. One is, how would you describe your current experience using Advances? 2 would be, how well does the system meet your needs in terms of functionality, usability, and reporting? 3, what challenges have you encountered during the implementation or day-to-day operations? Or 4, what features or improvements would you like to see, and what would be your top priorities? So I'm going to stop here and welcome any dialogue. You can unmute yourself. You can put it in the chat. This is my opportunity to hear you, so that way I can ask for what we need as we work with vendors. So I'm all yours.
I'll speak up. I'm not afraid to speak up. So overall, I think our experience with advances has been pretty good. I mean, here lately, yes, it's been a little bit aggravating, but that's to be expected when there's updates. It meets our needs as far as functionality. I think it's user friendly. Doing the registrations, entering the testing information. It's really nice to have a system that's designed just for Title II, and we're not trying to make workarounds like we used to with Colleague. I really like some of the features, the reporting features like testing alerts. Those are very important. The main feature, whether it's with Advances or any other vendor, my request would be that they have the electronic check-in and out feature. That has been a lifesaver for us, especially having limited staff. Trying to calculate sign in and out sheets, it's a nightmare. So having electronic sign in and out has saved us. So that's a must. A feature that I was thinking about actually today, it would be nice if the system would allow the student to check back in. Like, for example, if they left to go to lunch and then came back 30 minutes later. And I don't even know if it's an option. I've not even tested it out, but I don't think it is. I think once they check out, they're out. So maybe mention that. So that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you. If you see me looking down and off, I'm taking notes. I'm trying to make sure I capture all this. I'm listening. Don't worry, everybody. I'm listening. But I appreciate that. So.
So I'm Kristen Corbell. I'll speak up. I'll speak up. I would reiterate that we do use the electronic sign-in sheet, sign-in system, and we use it pretty extensively across all of our campuses at Guilford Tech. But we too need the ability for students to sign in, sign out, sign back in, and sign out again. Because with FTE auditing, there's a certain amount of time you can be out before you've got to sign back in. And so that is, and we've also had instances where students, they check in and they don't think it works and they end up checking out and then they can't sign back in again. And so then we have to do a sign-in sheet, and we had to go away from the too much paper because we were literally having to pay people 40 hours a week just to do paperwork on sign-in sheets because of how much of the approval process was putting on our staff. And we just can't afford that, but also that's not the best use of our dollars. So the sign-in sheet, the sign-in ability significantly helped that. But we're still running into problems, and every single time there's a problem with the system, we are ending up on paper. And so that does present problems when that happens. But for me, that feature is really important. we are really missing the ability to create our own reports that we had when we were in colleague with Informer, because we could create our own reports and get them the way we need them with the um, filtering to the exact students we need, the exact data elements we need, if it's a single row or multiple rows. That has been a significant problem for us. And we're finding that the two systems do not match, and we're running into auditing issues because of it. And so right now I'm trying to figure out how to get things out of Advances so we can expeditiously match it against colleague, because with the size we have, we can't go to every single student and manually look it up. We're also hearing from our IT that we are having the most amount of duplicate IDs in colleague than any other program at our college. And that has risen. And so I'm currently in the process of trying to figure out exactly where that's coming from, what we can do to fix that. And are there things that maybe in our setup and integration has created some of that? I'm not sure exactly what happened, but that is a reality of what we're facing. And so I think there's potentially maybe, I don't know if there was things that our system was customized in colleague, and so maybe it's creating some problems. But that is that's a recurrent struggle. And that it's creating a lot of problems across all of the areas because we are putting in duplicate IDs and not trying to. So, you know, I'm hoping we can figure out the electronic LEIS form. We're going to try piloting. We're really looking at ways to be efficient. Because right now the double approvals, I want to spend my money on student success. And so I'm really looking for any ways that we can have the system work for us, and help us be able to move more money into students and that type of thing. So that's my 2 cents right now.
I appreciate you letting us know about the duplicate IDs. That did come up with your CIOs a couple weeks ago. So
Great, thank you.
Thank you for the opportunity to share some thoughts. One of the things that I would like to see in the future, since August 2028 is kind of close, is the implementation piece. You know, the implementation of advances, as you know, and we all know here, it was rough. I mean, I guess learning lessons learned from that will be definitely important. But I think in my experience, one of the things that I found that was really hard to navigate during the implementation was that, you know, that link between vendor and my own IT department, and how that bridge was a rough bridge to cross. And sometimes the program director, which is the content expert of adult ed, has to become somewhat technical in things that, I mean, it was great for my own learning, but it was out of my league in so many topics. So I'm willing to learn. I'm sure we are all willing to learn, but that was a rough one for me during the implementation piece. And the other part is that I like what I heard from my previous colleague, something related to reports. You know, Advances is somewhat static in the reporting. It has great reports that we need to do our day-to-day, you know, attendance, testing alerts, all that kind of stuff is good. But I found my team kind of merging different reports to get the perfect type of setting where we can have, last day of attendance with the last test. And I cannot think about right now what are all these little pieces that it looks like we need more than one report or have the possibility to create our own reports in ways that is a little easier than the way we have it now. So that way we could save some time in looking for what we really need. It's almost like the way I see it is we have all these different deliverables, all these different program outcomes. It's almost like start from this is the outcome, and to get there, which data pieces do we need in order to get there? That's kind of reporting, implementation, and definitely web-based. One thing that I appreciate of advances is that easy access is web-based, and people can do this job from anywhere, to be honest. Thanks for the opportunity.
Absolutely. When you all say reports, I just want to make sure that I'm understanding. You want to be able to pull down the existing data and into a report that you need for whatever you need at your college. Okay.
That will be nice, because right now what we do is, I don't know, and guys, you can give me an example here, but we can probably bring table 4, boom, and then we use some logic to discriminate certain data, and we actually are doing all of this like with the spreadsheets. I'm pretty lucky to have very bright people working with me, so they do it and their logic is right. But if we could have a report or a system where it's like almost like a reporting screen, right? And you can select all the different fields in times and in different populations. Okay, so those that are post-tested, how many are they enrolling in, I don't know, digital literacy, or all different kinds of things that we are no static, of course, and in order to just meet these performance measures, data is obviously our day-to-day language. So that will be my Christmas list.
I appreciate that. So I do have, speaking to that implementation that Claudia was talking about, I'm going to open up for 1 or 2 more comments just for time, but I also want some feedback on implementation. And I'm looking at the chat as well. Don't worry. And I know Jessica and Arbany and all of them are watching the chat as well. So
I'd like to say something on behalf of CBOs.
Go ahead. Yes.
This is
Appreciate it. Yes.
This is Erin from Literacy Together in Asheville. And we despise advances. I appreciate the opportunity to speak up a little bit. I won't keep you too long, but we understand. I think CBOs understand that we're the kind of the unwanted stepchild, or at least the minority of students and staff and programs in the state. So we don't expect you to have us top of, number 1 when you decide what you're going to buy, but we do things so differently. And advances just does not work for us. What we primarily do is we match one-on-one instructors with students, and advances no longer allows us a way to do that. And so we have to create a class for each one-on-one student. And the data entry for the attendance hours is difficult and clunky and doesn't include everything that we need to include. The idea of having to close classes and then start new classes 3 or 4 times a year to fit in with certain trimesters or programs that, the calendar that you guys use at the community college. We have ongoing enrollment all year round, and people typically stay with us for a year or more in that one pair that they're assigned. So we want to be able to match a tutor with a student and be able to put in attendance hours all year round without having to close that and then start all over and open a new one 3 times a year. Another thing is the reporting. I'll just echo what everyone said about the reporting. Advances is really just a glorified spreadsheet, and you have to do a lot of manual things to get the data that you want. We would like to see reports like test score improvement. What was the point change on the test, not just whether they made a level gain or not. Before advances came along, we were using one called LACES, which we really actually liked. We complained a little bit at the time, but once we got advances, we thought, oh my God, we had no idea how good we had it before. So it's interesting to hear from colleges who think advances is better than what they had before. I guess colleague must have been really bad, but for us, LACES was pretty good and very flexible on reporting. And we could put in students' country of origin. In advances, we can't even run a report to find out how many different countries are represented in our student body and how many students from each country, and just a lot of things that aren't necessarily what, Title II reporting requires. There's a lot more than those required reports that we need for our programs that we can't get out of advances.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And for CBOs, we will be having a separate session just so that I can get some of your specifics, so that
Awesome.
way I can have. So
excellent. Thank you.
I do have another slide, but I'm gonna let Arvani speak and then get you some just some on the implementation. So
okay, I'm going to be super brief. I just wanted to speak to Erin's comment. First of all, the CBOs, you are an equal partner with us. So as Dr. Van Dyke stated, we do want to hear your feedback and your suggestions because we are all one Title II program. So please don't think that you're the redheaded stepchild or that we're not taking your feedback into consideration, because we are. And honestly, it is legislation and regulation that we take your feedback into consideration. So we will make sure you will have a seat at the table. I just wanted to add that little part in there. Thank you.
So on these questions, you're welcome to send me or any of the staff that you have feedback on. We want to make sure that we get it. I know there's not enough time in the day to hear about everything, but I kind of want to just quickly walk to 2 implementation ideas and then kind of get some general feedback from you all just to see how you all are feeling. So quickly, would you go to the next slide, Rebecca? Or who's ever controlling the screen? I assumed it was Rebecca. The first implementation is kind of with the timeline in which I thought for you. Or I kind of explained. So the grant management systems, those grant activities, that's the easy lift that we're going to try to do next year, get training in and around and really work on that. So the second piece would be the data system. You can see the 2 columns. One is the data system we'd go towards, and one is the advances system that we have. So when you see the words SOR, that means system of record. Legally, we can only have 1 system of record by octet at a time. So that way, when you see those words that are happening. So you can see between fall 26 and spring 28, we would be building out the system and doing some online as well as on-site training. My task to the staff is to develop a plan to how we come to each of the colleges and CBOs to spend time with internal training on the implementation and really speak to that. Then we would go live on July 1st of 2028. Because our contract ends on August 28, you would finish out reporting for each school year 27-28 into advances, and then we would move forward together. There would be pilot testing, there would be forum groups, there would be people to bring in to build and destroy the system, so that way when we do feel that it is ready to go, we put it out. So this is a quick timeline. This is draft number 1. The next slide shows an extended timeline. And so again, the grant management system is the easier of the 2 systems we would put into place. The second one does give us out till 2030, because if we have an active RFP or we've gone through another process or another vendor to build out, we can work with advances to kind of extend the contract just a little bit to give us a little bit more runway. So this is just a general idea of how we would build things out. But we would build out the system and do intentional activities to make sure that we incorporate everything we have and test it to make sure that it is, whether it's the check-in and check-out feature, whether it's the electronic LEIS system, whether we can build in ad hoc reports as you're all asking and making sure that those are happening. So we would work with whatever vendor it is to build those out and have that. Then have some focused training for almost a year and a half with all of you. So that way you feel comfortable with you, your staff, whoever's going to be working with the system would, your instructors who may be interfacing with the attendance piece or however other pieces would have all of the training and everybody feel comfortable and bring it on in cohorts. And then have that system of record go live on July 1st of 2030 as you would then finish out advances school year 29-2030, which is hard to think about, but it'll be here before you know it in advances. So those are two draft timelines. I know they're drastically different, but I want to hear your thoughts on them because we have internal thoughts, but we're not the ones that would be doing the actual entry of data and all of the using it on the daily system. So love to hear just your thoughts, your general thoughts on this. So on the two different timelines. It's okay if you don't have any. I know if you need to think some more about it. I know internally we would appreciate the extended timeline, and that's kind of the one that we would like to go towards. And we have asked, I know everybody just died. Thank you. I thought it was me for a second. But that extended timeline to really get this right, to make sure that we don't have any challenges. We understand there's going to be challenges, but try to have them as much as we can. This does not put any, I do know some of you are thinking about the ERP project. Are we moving from Banner and Colleague? We don't have any updates on that. I know that's going to be a big part of the fall board meeting and how that's working and just some more information. So the extended timeline does give us some opportunity to see how that goes, to see how the LMS transition goes, and really kind of build in those features as well. So. And it also doesn't allow us, if we hopefully get one ERP, we don't have to build integrations to both Colleague and Banner, but we will if we need to. So. All right, I see extendeds coming through. So I know we're coming to the end of our time. Again, if you have any other further conversations, you're welcome to reach out to me, reach out to any of the CCR staff that you have the ability to reach out where you may have a relationship that they'll listen to. We're here to listen. We're at that time where we've asked the vendors to give us some more information before we make our decision. And then that way we can go back and ask for more because we'll ask for what we can get and then scale back from whatever we can at that point. So we're going to ask for the luxury car and see what we can get, what features we have. So grant writing cycle, just to quickly answer that question, the grant management cycle, once we know who the vendors are, we'll be able to answer all of that. That just depends on the vendor and all of those pieces. But that would be on a new RFP cycle if we go into 2030. So. All right, that's all I have. I appreciate your time and giving me your honest feedback because that's how we can really make sure that we're getting a product that we need to move forward. So thank you all for your time. So.
And I think Karen may have been asking about would they submit for the next big RFP so that they're not trying to transition data systems at the same time they're trying to submit a big grant application?
And that'll information will come once we get closer to the releasing of that RFP process and all of that, once we know the vendors and all of that. So no matter which one we do, we'll be either mid-cycle or right in the beginning of the cycle of the
At the new
RFP.
cycle.
So
But we will make it as seamless as possible for you, we promise.
The happier the field is and the easier it is to implement, the easier it is for the system office team too. Yeah. All right. Well, are there any final questions on the call? All right. We'll wrap it up. Thank you all for joining us.
Take care, everyone. Thank you.